Falcon Nation, welcome to another edition of Falcons Corner, Spring Break Edition. You know what Spring Break Edition means? It means it's going to be fast.
Yeah, okay.
All right?
Yeah, it works for me.
Voice of the Falcons, Mike Rickert. Good guy, they know the co-host, Dan Berg. Turn to Tom, SID behind the camera. Welcome back from Iowa.
Thanks, man.
Did you bring any corn back for us?
No corn. I didn't even bring warm weather. It was above 50 degrees the whole time I was out there, which was good. And as you say, turn two, I must say, between the coaches meeting I went to and sat in on, and then seeing some parents of ours that were there, they made mention. I introduced myself to a parent, and they're like, "Oh, well, I know you from the show."
Right.
And this week, you changed the name of the SID. And I was like, "Oh, no way!" And then as we were sitting there, some of the guys from like our district that I got to know, they're like, after you mentioned the show during the thing, like we went back and looked at it, like you guys do a good job. I was like, well, I definitely appreciate that.
Sure.
And then at that moment, I get the message that says next week should be in 4K. but I'm telling you, like it's so funny when they're like, oh, the show.
The show.
Yeah.
The show. So like it's the show, like it's
the show.
So hopefully we get a mantle behind us with some of our awards that'll come through in the
well,
future.
we have awards coming through. They're just not here yet.
Where's those daytime Emmys? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, they're just they maybe didn't get shipped out yet, like some other
Well,
awards.
we're gonna let the recap of Iowa fall on you since you were there.
Yeah,
so we had 6 dudes, 8 wins total.
8 total wins out there. I think we had 3 of our wrestlers, or 2 of them had 2 wins each. I think it was a good experience.
We got also a good start, right? Because Cordell pinned his guy, and then Ray won, and then
pinned his guy,
and Dylan pinned his guy at the end too, right?
Dylan pinned his. He was gassed through that first one. It looked like, but he dug down and then got that pin, and like you said, we had 6 guys go out there. We had 5 get wins, whether it was 1 or 2,
right?
While they were there, and it's a long day if you lose,
right?
So. Ray, picked up his first 2 wins of the day and made the quarterfinal, which he really kind of then had 3 hours before he wrestled again.
Right.
And some of these schools wrestle in these large events all the time, and we don't. We didn't this year. Yeah. We weren't maybe sure exactly where the roster numbers were going to be at the beginning of the year. Willie wasn't wrestling for the school at the beginning of the year. He was wrestling unattached at other events. But we would go to a tournament and maybe Cordell would go 3-0, but it would be 1 win and 2 forfeits.
Right.
And so I think not necessarily not having like the big match experience, but the number of times that you're going to wrestle in a day.
Right.
The max is 5. You can wrestle up to 5 times. So if you win, you don't. If you win all the way through, you only actually wrestle a total of 5 times during the tournament.
Right.
You lose, it's a double elimination tournament. You can go 2-2. Such as what Ray did and Cordell, and I believe Dylan.
I think Dylan did too, yeah.
Actually, I don't know if Cordell went 1 and 2.
Cordell went 1 and 2. Dylan went 2 and 2. I know Shannon, I think, went 2 and 2.
And then
Evan was 1 and 2 also,
1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the 8 wins.
Yeah.
And then Simeon Hunt was in his matches. You know what I mean? So, it's a long day once you lose. But again, I think for Ray, those 3 to 4 hours between sessions, kind of just being there maybe weighed on them a little bit. And it was a new experience for the coaches and the student athletes to be there. But the 8 wins is a Lackawanna record for out there. We went out there in 2019, maybe the 18-19 season. We had 8 qualifiers when we won the district. Right. And we didn't come away with 8 individual wins, 17.5 total points for us as a team. We finished in the upper half, I believe, of all the teams that were out there. But I mean, you're seeing former NCAA Division I qualifiers,
right?
Who qualifiers, as in they qualified for their national tournament years, whether it was last year or the year before, but maybe One I definitely know had a separated shoulder at one point, had to have surgery, competed, ended up in the semifinals. So it was a pretty good showing. I think it was eye-opening, but it showed that we can compete. Shannon Core, and he in his I think it was his eliminate or his second match. He ended up going up against Diebo
From Indian Hills, right?
And he was the national champ.
Yeah.
Okay, big guy, like tall, we're at length, and Shannon had moments in the first period where he was incredibly competitive. I think his maturity of the other, as in he wasn't a freshman,
right?
And maybe was within a program somewhere, kind of took over. Maybe Shannon's inexperienced, not having a ton of matches this year, but competing at that level with someone who ended up becoming the national champ, and he held his own.
I thought Shannon, I mean, judging at least by the scores otherwise, I thought Shannon gave that kid probably his best match of the best match of the weekend.
That I saw too. I mean, you don't see there's 10 mats.
Right.
Sure,
It was awesome, and so there was so much going on. They added 2 mats for the women's invitational that was there. There was 120 or 122 female student athletes who competed.
Great.
So it was a really cool atmosphere. Iowa Western, I can't say enough about what they do. And it's really, they kept saying the entire Iowa Conference.
Right.
Tom McDonald, who's the commissioner of that, they really do a great job. Joe Renfro from Northeast Oklahoma, he's very involved. He's the head of the Coaches Association. But Iowa Western and their athletic director, Shane Larson is his name, and their president, Dan Kinney, I mean, he is one of the most involved presidents in the NJCAA.
Okay.
And you can tell by that and just the things he was able to say during the meeting briefly. But you can just tell that they're all in, and they do a great job hosting. It's up for bid.
Okay.
And so I hope we get an opportunity to maybe go back there.
Right.
I think the blueprint's been laid. I think they've been there the last 6 or 8 years or so.
Sure.
But who knows? They put bids in, and maybe someone does a good presentation and finances and stuff like that. But I thought our kids did great. I think they represented the college really well.
That's most important.
And I was impressed from the coaching staff all the way down to the parents that were out there supporting. We had a good number of parents or family.
Yep.
It's funny, Dylan Hogan's mother is from Council Bluffs. I did some digging, asking questions, and they met his father in Colorado. They live here, but
I was going to say between him and Evan, all of East Stroudsburg was out there, right?
Yeah. So it was really cool, and the support that they showed just for all of our kids. They were running around to the different mats to see them compete, and it's always a cool trip.
Yep.
This is the time the weather really cooperated. It's usually like some sort of ice storm at some point, and I think like I said, our student athletes and our coaches, and Frank Mraz was incredible with the kids. They represented the college well. They traveled well. Most importantly for me, they didn't have any travel interruptions.
Right.
So
that's good too.
Which is awesome.
Well, we thank you for going.
I'm sure everybody does.
Yeah. So we thank you. We thank Coach Barbary and his staff and all his guys for representing on a great season. Congratulations. Yeah. We're glad everyone got back safe so they can enjoy their spring break and they get ready for next year.
That's it.
We'll have some returners, so those dudes will be ready.
Yeah.
Now, we got to just change subject real fast. I know voting for Athlete of the Week, Tom, was
it kind of
up in the air. So
kind of hit a stalemate.
Where did it end? Did we have an Athlete of the Week yet? I know we're on spring break, but
I think the Athlete of the Week is going to probably end up being Ian Murphy from Lackawanna Baseball.
Well, it should be because that's who Danny and I voted for.
Yes.
Okay.
So we have a little extra weight.
Yeah. So there you go. And everyone else.
Our votes are worth 1 1/4.
I think everyone else is just getting 1 vote.
We have 1 1/4.
Yes. Yes. So
at least for this week.
And anyway, there's no one here, Tom. We don't have to interview anyway. So Ian Murphy, Athlete of the Week.
Done.
Right. And we'll recap his weekend in a second. But let's take a break.
Okay.
There is no interview.
No. Just a picture of Joe.
Again.
Yeah.
Because we didn't have him last week.
I missed Joe.
He's right upstairs.
Is he working today? I'm off today. This is the most
that's
part
right. I forgot.
Yes. All right. We'll be back in the Falcons corner.
We got to get you out of here.
I'm waiting for my buddy to come. We got to go on it.
Each one of us has a dream. The challenge in today's world is how to achieve it. Now, more than ever, that's the case. Don't fall behind on your dreams or your college education. you can take your general education classes in English, math, and social science locally at Lackawanna College. Our credits transfer to most colleges so you won't fall behind. Call Lackawanna College today to find out how you can stay home, stay safe, and still pursue your college education. This is life-changing. This is Lackawanna College.
We are back in the Falcons Corner, the voice of the Falcons, Mike Rickert, good guy, the no co-host, Danny Berg, turn 2, Tom SID behind the camera.
Yeah.
Speaking of turning 2, baseball, softball is down south. Let's start with softball. They split, they're 2-2.
2-2.
Gave up some runs, scored a bunch of runs.
2-2 as of taping here.
Yes, so that's the story of softball. We'll give up some, we'll score more than you the next time. So I know a bunch of girls showed off their strength that they've gained all off season in the weight room.
Compliments to you.
Of course.
25-1.
Yes.
Yeah, they
pounded out a couple home runs.
Yeah, Frederick is still kind of rebuilding their program a little bit, so that maybe had something to do with it.
Nah.
But Skylar Borthwick with a couple doubles and a home run.
Right.
A couple other girls. Yeah, Tess had a good game. Tess yesterday, which is Monday, had an inside the park home run and a triple.
Right.
How do you do that in these smaller?
Well,
that's awesome.
We work on speed too, there, buddy. Yeah. No, Tess is a good athlete. So I can see her motor around the bases. Sniffing out
hit a good gap on that. That's for sure.
Yeah. So they are 2-2. They're enjoying some nice weather. I believe it's nice and warm down there.
Yeah, it seems like it.
I keep seeing I haven't checked the actual forecast in Myrtle Beach, but I keep seeing national weather, and it says warm in that part of the country.
I saw their first day when Coach Pitt put up his Instagram post. It was like 80 degrees.
Yeah.
And you never know. There's times that they've played down there, and it's 30 in the morning, and they have that 9 a.m. game, but.
Well, they'll be in for a rude awakening when they get back here in a couple of days.
Oh, yeah.
That sunburn won't last long.
No, it'll turn to windburn.
So I know we have like maybe 4 or 5 games left on their.
They have, since this is on Wednesday, there's one game on Wednesday night, 7 o'clock. Then they have 2 games on Thursday, 2 games on Friday. Then they come home and they don't play again until next Saturday.
Right. And then baseball is also down south. They started off in South Carolina against Florence Darlington.
Number 9 in the country in Division 1.
Talking to the firstborn,
okay.
He said they were a very, very good team. And he said, for example, their number 8 hitter took Kyle Deep.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so he said that they were legit. They said they were a little van-legged from their van ride on Friday, but they were down in Florence. Right? So
yeah.
Was it Florence Darlington?
Florence,
right?
South Carolina.
And I know it was warm that day also, but playing very good team. Like we said, their 8 hitter took Kyle Deep.
Yeah.
But they lost 12-2, 12-1.
12-2, 12-1, 12-2.
And then they came back.
And they won.
Athlete of the week, Ian Murphy had 2 bases clearing doubles and a 2-run shot, 8 RBIs and a 10-5.
10-5 victory.
Yes. So
they
they
are 4
are
games against them.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Which is great. And I know that was Coach McCary's thinking of not going to Myrtle Beach. He wanted to schedule his own guys, his own teams, and play some really good competition to get them ready when they head back up north. So
sure.
He is doing that. The firstborn was looking for a bridge to jump off, and I had to talk him off the bridge, because he was 1 for 4 in his 2 games.
Okay.
And he just says he stinks really bad. And I was like, well, you'll be all right.
It's a game of streaks. That's why you have 50-plus games,
yes.
right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he just wants to be helping out. And I was like, just be a good teammate and do what you can.
Do what you can when your number's called and make the most out of it.
That's it,
Got to be patient in baseball, right?
Yes. So he'll be fine. I told him just to relax. Don't put so much pressure on yourself. I'm such a good dad. I'm so loving and caring. I don't care how my kids perform on the athletic field. I never care how they perform on the court or on the field. I never get upset. I've never yelled.
No, never.
Never. My blood pressure never raised.
It's the new you.
That's
as long as the shower stays under 10 minutes, you're good.
If that shower's 5 minutes left, take advantage of it in the shower down there.
That's what I told him, yes.
When you come back.
But they are back at it today, which is Wednesday.
Yes.
And then they also play again Thursday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah, they get busy. So they've got Wake Tech playing in Raleigh, North Carolina, actually where the Carolina Mudcats play Wednesday afternoon, so like today.
Yep.
And then Thursday they're at Patrick and Henry, very good team in Division II, actually beat us in the NJCAA National Tournament a few years ago. And then they play on the road at Bryan and Stratton, Virginia. For a 4-game series, doubleheader Saturday and Sunday.
Yep. So they got a lot
Virginia Beach.
Yep. They got a lot of driving and a lot of playing ahead of them. So safe travels throughout the South.
Yeah.
Play well, bring back some W. I think it'd be great if they came back 500. 500 for the trip, not overall. 500 for the trip.
500 for the trip is good.
I think that'd be.
And they're playing, like you said, they're playing good teams. So you never know who you're going to get in the draw.
Right.
Yeah.
You go down to like a predetermined place like the Ripken Experience. And not that there's anything wrong with that.
No, but
you've done it so many times, you might want to change it up a little bit. And our spring break, like I've said before, is a lot earlier than some other schools.
Right.
So there's not a ton of teams that you're actually not necessarily playing down there that differ.
Yep. And then before we thought we would close out basketball, we had some EPAC awards, right? So Coach Gabriel, EPAC Coach of the Year. Who was our first teamers?
So Malik Mims, Caleb Mims, and Amir Mack all made it. So.
And then on the women's side?
On the women's side, it was Gabby Jackson with Sienna Roberts and Mahogany Collins.
All right, good, awesome. So congratulations to them.
And
that's the last. We will not have to talk basketball again until next year.
Yeah.
That was the last of basketball.
Good.
So if you just tune in for basketball, we'll see you in a couple months.
That's it. No. Sorry, take us out. But don't actually get us, subscribe, and get that
keep
subscription back up.
Yes.
We want to hit that 1,000 mark.
Yes.
Again.
All right, we've gone way over our spring break special edition show.
Yeah,
I got to go home and paint some more kitchen cabinets.
Ooh, I got to go upstairs and sit behind my desk.
Yeah, so I'm going to go for a run first. All right, so best of luck to all our guys and ladies down south. Safe travel. Get home safely. Bring some W's back. And we'll see everyone. Yeah, definitely. We'll see everyone back in the Falcons Corner next week. Take flight.